Hello everybody and welcome back to this new stream from Blockchain Zoo. We are here, we were relaxing at the beach, but we are here because Facebook came out with this Libra blockchain and we could not stand away from commenting what's going on. And we got the best people here for you. We have Barton, our CTO, a co-founder of Blockchain Zoo, and we have Danny, also co-founder of Blockchain Zoo and longtime expert of crypto. So we are here today. You can post your question online, and we are here to discuss this Libra project by Facebook. So there you go. So for a long time, Facebook keep banning ads, keep stopping people from talking and promoting crypto, and now they come out with their own cryptocurrency. Is this something that is possible? What's your take, Danny?
I'm very amused to start with, but after 5 seconds reflecting on it, I'm not amused anymore. There is something with Facebook lately. A lot of people have been complaining about the way their accounts are handled and the way they go apparently randomly in Facebook jail and everything. And that got me thinking that Facebook started as a glorified photo album, and a way to keep in touch with people you knew from university, right? And it has evolved into this kind of universal platform with a claimed 2 billion people on it. And what I saw, and when I talked to people, is the conclusion came that they were never ready to see such an expansion on a conceptual level. So now we see a lot of controversies with alleged participation, for instance, of Russian accounts in American elections and so on and so forth, with intervention of state into the speech of people who talk in groups on Facebook and so on and so forth. And I think this can happen because there are no tools, from the platform to actually face this kind of involvement, this kind of situation. Now everybody advertises on Facebook, everybody speaks on Facebook, everybody promotes themselves or their ideas on Facebook, right? On a glorified photo album at the beginning. And this is scary because this is coupled with the fact that Facebook doesn't really care about its users, and this is not allegedly. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, there was this information that stated they kept user passwords in clear in some of their database, and then there'd be Cambridge Analytica, and then another one after it. So the data there is free roaming, and it goes to whoever wants to consume it. And now what we have is Facebook with this Calibra and Libra wants to create a consortium with which to share this data. But if you look at it, you have eBay, you sell, you buy stuff. You have Amazon, this is stuff you watch, this is stuff you read. You have in the consortium also PayPal, this is stuff you buy, this is stuff you have bought, right? And this comes on the top of a network. Later maybe Rob or Barton, you can explain how it's not really decentralized, right?
More than happy to.
Yeah, right. So I see that you're putting this. We remind all our listeners that the opinion are attached to the single person here.
Yeah. This is only on me.
These streams. I understand your point of view. You say they were not being able to stop manipulation with their data. They freeze people's account. Is it correct that this is people that is going to hold your account when it comes to finance as well? And this is why it's interesting to understand, because blockchain, as we all know, is a system of free participation. Nobody needs to ask permission to anybody to add one node or to open a wallet in Bitcoin, for example. Is it the same thing with Libra? Can anybody to participate in this decentralized system, or there is a more mechanical way that things actually work?
So I think this is actually the most interesting point that we need to discuss, which is, and this is the title of the live stream, is Libra really a blockchain? Maybe in spirit or actually technically at the level of the data? And I think the answer to both is no. So that doesn't mean that they haven't constructed a crypto platform where you can actually sign to move your funds with your private key and things like this. But probably the most important aspect is the centralization aspect. So the Libra Association is made of companies who've invested a lot of money to actually hold their positions in this list. And each one of these large organizations, say PayPal, eBay, Amazon, Uber, Lyft, several that we've discussed, they each control one node of the crypto platform. And all of these, so there's only these couple of nodes run by these couple of large organizations, which in principle all know each other. They're all in the one association together. They can really collaborate to decide what they want to happen on the blockchain.
So what you're saying that even if I think I have $1 million here in my pocket somewhere, but if I took my $1 million and pretend to have a node in this blockchain, in truth I would be a minority anyway by myself because I'm not a good friend of all these companies, right?
Well, I would say even in their original documentation, Libra really pointed out exactly how non-decentralized this is, which is they indicated that, say, they used a particular algorithm called the Byzantine fault-tolerant algorithm, which means that as many as 1/3 of the participants can be malicious before the blockchain becomes insecure or before the system becomes insecure. They indicated in this Libra project that in the case that they detect or decide by means unknown that more than 1/3 of the participants are in fact voting maliciously, that the association will temporarily stop the blockchain and select the correct fork to move forward on. So at this point, it's really no different than running a large centralized system that's overseen by many participants.
I see. That's quite concerning. I like the idea of Bitcoin because it gives me a lot of responsibility to be sure about what I do, because once I send funds to somebody, I cannot call anybody to say, hey, I made a mistake. And because exactly nobody can decide in my behalf, that actually I cannot send the funds to somebody else. Thinking that somebody could halt their please Bitcoin blockchain probably wouldn't have raised enough attention and fan base to Bitcoin. Do you see this to be an issue? Because I understand that while not being a blockchain in full effect in terms of technical aspects, there is a lot of political aspects that this association raises. I can share a little bit of my opinion that is more on the point of view of the positive side that this Libra can actually do. This Libra is going to bring the concept of cryptocurrency to a lot of people that today have no idea about cryptocurrency. We moved from a point where talking about Bitcoin, people thought you were crazy, that something doesn't exist, and now pretty much everybody knows Bitcoin, but very few know what blockchain is. And now exposing forcefully in a certain way to billion users of Facebook and then all the clients of Uber and so on, to a concept of a cryptocurrency, a concept in explaining this of a blockchain, even if it's not a blockchain, is a sort of a Trojan horse that bring the concept of crypto inside the city of the people that doesn't know it. If Libra itself would be possible to be used as a gateway to purchase other cryptocurrency like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and many others, probably this action is going to pump the market of cryptocurrency in an incredible way. And again, who knows if that's going to be in fact possible or not, because if it's an effect of a blockchain, there will be no way that can stop it. Because if everybody can run a node, then everybody can run wallet in terms of crypto without an administration control. Any exchange can add Libra to their exchange, willing or not Facebook and friends agreeing on it, right? So there is this aspect of, yes, this is going to bring more crypto to people. It's not really a blockchain, but who cares in terms of psychological approach to the technology. In terms of actual functioning, yes, it's very important because that's actually what limits the possibility to be a node in an open blockchain or not. And then there is all the political aspect. This idea that currency ends where a country ends is a very old idea. If you think there are more corporations that are multi-country now, and they have branches and offices in many countries, and they have their own loyalty points, they expand outside a single country, there is the idea that a currency is no more a currency that needs to stop where a country stops, but can actually bring reach everywhere where there is no other way to reach a currency, like even banking the unbanked in small villages with something they can spend. So keyword. Probably there is a good and there is a bad in all. Danny?
Banking the unbanked is a keyword, actually. It's a fun keyword. The thing is, we've already seen, like, all over the news that some people are voicing their concern about compliance, right? So basically, when you actually use other people's money in certain ways, you need a banking license, right? And there is also this notion of sovereignty. So when you are a country, you want to have a certain influence about the economy of your country via a certain influence on its monetary system, right? And there are rules and there are regulations that govern the use of this money. Now, where does Libra fall within this regulatory scope? In this country, in that country, worldwide? I know that, for instance, in Indonesia, you're not going to be able to buy anything with Libra, right? Because you can't buy something with anything but Indonesian rupiah. So what will be the status there? This kind of questions are being asked, like, a little bit everywhere. What also, even if, okay, I would like to iterate on what you just said, like about the concept of cryptography and what they did well. I think it's a good thing in any case that Facebook comes up with Libra, because whether they do it well or whether they don't do it well, already it's creating a lot more interest in crypto, and it's teaching people by the intervention of third parties like us and like a lot of other professionals. They say, hey, this is crypto, this is blockchain, this is how that works, and there are regulations. These are concepts that a lot of people wouldn't study if it weren't for Libra. So thanks Facebook for that, and this is heartfelt. Now, going back to the political side, having a consortium that have their own rules, that knows what you talk about via WhatsApp, what you buy on eBay, what you watch on Amazon, what you have bought, your payment history and everything. I see it as possibly creating questions, as in, okay, and what if a country asks for profiling about their citizens? Like, hey, who's a spy in my country? Who could be qualified as a spy? Who is from the wrong political party?
Sure.
Can
that's for sure an argument that Libra or no Libra can be raised anyway when you come to be the user of so many large corporations that work together. On the other hand, I think I was thinking this: art is large corporation, runs most of them by younger people, fighting the same fight that Satoshi Nakamoto started with Bitcoin, or they are actually trying to stab on the back the community that was trying to promote this liberation from the financial system. That's the big question I don't understand. Is Facebook and friends, building the tank that fight the battle or not?
Well, I think that this comes down in large part to the terminology that they've chosen to use, which is blockchain. And if you look deeply, so personal disclaimer, say I'm not an expert on economics and I'm not an expert on politics, but we do work with blockchain technology every day. So that's the part that I feel qualified to comment on especially, which is, Facebook's Libra white paper was very careful to use the word blockchain throughout. They described themselves internally and externally as a blockchain. But if you look at the data structure that they've described, it's not the kind of blockchain that was created by, say, Satoshi Nakamoto. And that's where I think you're going with that line of questioning, which is, say, is Facebook really continuing the battle that these have started, or is it really just kind of wrapping the old financial system in new clothing? And I think, so on the technical point, the Libra blockchain, quote unquote, sends the transactions to be validated one by one as they're approved by the leader of the consensus round. And this is, which is, there's arguments to be made whether that's the correct model, whether it's not. I think probably the most important departure in a technical sense from something like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is the idea of a fixed supply. So cryptocurrencies look to challenge the current economic model by fixing the amount of coins that are going to exist and suggesting, say, if the value of the coin goes up, then there's never going to be more coins that you can arbitrarily create. Whereas, say, the fiat model in the world There's like a central banking model and fractional reserve models where there are various places where currency can be introduced. If I want to take Facebook's Libra currency, then I'm going to exchange a certain amount of fiat with some centralized point that interacts with the blockchain. I think they're still working on exactly how that's going to proceed. And I'm going to receive a certain amount of Libra tokens in return. On the other hand, if I want to cash out my Libra tokens, I'm going to have to send those back to this central entity of some kind and receive my fiat currency back. So what this means effectively is that there is no supply cap in the Libra blockchain. There's
they can convert all the money in the world in Libra. That's the mission.
The number, if the Federal Reserve prints $1 trillion tomorrow, then in principle there can be $1 trillion more Libra in the system. And so really this becomes a way to move your fiat money around on, in a crypto system, but not something that represents its own independent value.
Yeah, furthermore, I was reading in the white paper that they intend to use this money to finance technological projects that produce a certain income. So in fact, they're multiplying money, right? They're giving you Libra in exchange of money that they actually use to create a different business, which can be interesting. If this business produces an income, actually the reserve will potentially grow if the business goes bad. So I wonder which is their financial status behind this. This is quite suspicious. There is also this aspect that they want to take over the world blockchain. Right, they define themselves as a blockchain while they're not technically for what our understanding of blockchain is today. And then I wonder, blockchain has this big limit until today of scaling. Any blockchain cannot support a huge amount of transaction. Per se, the transaction the credit card, Visa, MasterCard do daily, it will never be possible to put them in a blockchain for those that are already running publicly today, probably or tomorrow. Did they solve the scaling issue?
No, and I think that's one of the most salient points here is that, say, in principle, the blockchain's transaction limitation, only comes from the fact that you expect blockchain nodes to be run on normal computers, not supercomputers. Whereas each of these Libra nodes that they're going to use have, each of the members of the association, they described it takes half a server rack to run one. So, in fact, if the reason that Visa or MasterCard can process so many transactions is because they run out of large data centers where they can run on large computers. So Libra has solved this problem in precisely the same way that all of the big processors that have large transaction volume.
So you're saying that if I want to run a Libra node, not only I need my $10 million to be part of the things, I need to find another $10 million to set up my server racks and internet connection to have a node that qualify to be a node for Libra.
And in fact, they require this, that you have hired a particular security expert who has particular credentials, all in order as a prerequisite to join the Libra Foundation and be authorized to run one of these nodes, that you have to have certain security experts with certain qualifications managing. So it's completely outside of the reach of any normal participant other than, say, a large company that wants to help enforce the blockchain.
Okay, so this clarify. So to get back to the point, we have a new technology that is being called blockchain, but we understand doesn't actually match the blockchain aspect. They're intended to be an exchange item with the US dollar, I guess, or anyway, whatever they consider stable coin. So my Libra is not going to increase in value as a Bitcoin can do, or lose value the same way as Bitcoin can do, but it's going to be pegged to fiat currency, which can be manipulated by government, and in counterpart, automatically also the Libra currency can be manipulated indirectly. So that's really a way to have my normal money in my Facebook application and spend them around to be able to be reconverted in money. I think that's what I understand. I'm curious to see the first layout that is going to come out, the first application to actually spend this and how it's going to be branded too. So will you be a collector of Libra coin? You're going to buy your next ice cream with Libra coin?
It all depends on one thing, actually. For me, the big question is, do Facebook want to break borders or create a country, right? And well, here we have governance, right? Now it's assumed that we'll have pretty strong governance, as you say, but there is another aspect that would say it being restrictive or not, is the conservation of pseudonymity, right? So it's been established that KYC, like your ID card or whatever other information you need to provide, will be needed for some transactions, but to what limit, you know, to what extent?
If I could make a comment on this, because they did comment on this, they made, Facebook made a big comment in their documents about how this is all going to be put into the Libra Association, which is a nonprofit organization, and its data centers are going to be completely disconnected from Facebook so that advertisers can't use Libra data, blah, blah, blah. But I'm waiting to see how thin those walls actually are, because I think the chances that they're never going to connect stuff in your Libra account, which in principle is public information, with the data that they store on you in Facebook, and that all of these others, as you mentioned, eBay, Amazon, Uber, all these companies that collect user information, I think the chances that those are not going to form a unified data set that somebody uses to monitor you are very small.
You realize that tomorrow your Facebook account are going to be blocked for what you're saying now. I like Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, please keep my account running because I just celebrated my birthday. People still wishing me happy birthday in Facebook. Don't cut my account off. I'm a supporter of Libra. And no, jokes aside, but this is in fact something that is concerning. Yeah, when there is such a large manipulation of many aspects of our life through different corporations that are detached from what people want, which is a government, and now this is taking the financial step outside the border of a single country. That you're saying correct. Is Facebook trying to build up a worldwide country with a common currency, with a common share of news that in a certain way has been demonstrated they can manipulate to bring people thinking what they like and together with people that offer other things. So I understand that we pivoted a little bit this discussion from the technical aspect of Libra, which are obviously an interesting part, but definitely looking at the impact that worldwide cryptocurrency in the hands, in fact, of very few that are friends with each other can have in a certain way, in a concerning manner. I still think that on the side of the positive things, there is the fact that many more people are going to be exposed to crypto, and if, and I hope this is going to be the case, Libra can be a gateway currency to bring a lot of people in the world of the other cryptocurrencies. That would be an amazing thing.
In the end, I think there are two paths, right? The utopic path and the dystopic path. The utopia would be, okay, you have this value, you can do whatever you want with it and have fun and enjoy, and we have a whole framework for you to, you know, to get the best, to get the things you want, the things you need, and you're free to do it as you wish. And the dystopian branch of this would be your last purchase wasn't fit to our community standards, and we have frozen your wallet, you know, which could be a joke or not.
Absolutely.
I think not.
So, well, we come to a conclusion to this stream here, and thank you for watching. Thank you to Danny. Thank you to Barton for participating. Rob. And let's see how things move with this Libra. And when it's going to be the time to discuss more, we're going to be back here and discuss again with you all. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.